everybody, and welcome to episode 133 of the This Old Knit podcast. I am your host, Nina, otherwise known as Ine, on Ravelry, Instagram, and Pinterest, and you can find show notes for this episode and all previously recorded episodes in the corresponding numbered thread on the This Old Knit Ravelry group, or I think from maybe 3 or 4 episodes back, you can find them in the box below the episode on YouTube. So welcome to all new viewers and welcome back to all returning viewers. I'm glad you're taking some time to watch my podcast. So I think it's been 3 weeks-ish. Looking back, it appears that I'm doing roughly 1 episode a month for the year of 2020, which is pretty expected given everything that's been happening in 2020, but hopefully in 2021 I will get back to bi-weekly episodes. During the beginning of the pandemic, obviously we were all in lockdown, so I had the kids here all the time, so finding time to even do a podcast was very difficult. Now they are in school, so that is helpful. And it just so happens that this week, because it is the week of Thanksgiving in the US, I have taken the entire week off. So yesterday I did a virtual knit day, not night, with my friend Andrea for a couple of hours. And I also cut out some fabric to make bags. So today I put aside some time to podcast. However, we are having a new microwave delivered, so ours has been repaired a couple of times by my husband. The door, like the, what do you call it? Like the clips for the door stopped working, so he was able to like bolt it together and didn't impact the inside. Oh, we have a low battery somewhere in the house for a smoke alarm. That worked for a little while, and then now, probably 2 weeks ago, it stopped being able to latch closed, so we couldn't use it at all. Again, he was able to open it up and fix it for a short amount of time, but the little clip on the plastic, like little things that go into the door on the microwave, there's a spring inside, if you didn't know, that holds on to those little latches, and it had come off, but he said while he was in there, he noticed like one of those plastic things was starting to break. So it's only a matter of time, so we just said, okay, let's just go ahead and order a new one. So we did. Didn't get any Black Friday deals, but whatever, we needed a microwave, so it's coming today, sometime in a 3-hour window. Of course, it will probably be while I'm podcasting, but I wanted to at least get the episode started, and then if I need to, I can, pause and come back, and you won't know because I'll edit it all together. But I have a lot to show. I got all of my yarn from India Untangled. It was virtual this year, and I wanted to make sure I supported at least a couple of makers because I know the pandemic has really disrupted their schedule as well. So I did try to purchase some yarn from some people who were vending. And I also got an Advent gift from a swap that we were doing in it's an Instagram chat group that we have that Sue from the Distant Stitches podcast invited me to, but like Leanne is in there, who I've been friends with for years and years, from the Itty Bitty Knits group. And then the dyer behind Arctic Yarns, Bente. Is it Arctic Yarns? I better make sure of that. Arctic Crafts. My apologies. Behind Arctic Crafts is also in that group. There's a lot of people in there. So there's people from Canada, Norway, Australia, the US. So there's kind of chatter going like 24/7. So we organized a group amongst all of those ladies. So one of the bags that I was cutting out is for my partner, who is Sue. and I want to get that done and sent out this week because I'm on vacation. So I'm going to pause because I want to go get my coffee, and it's in the microwave that they're going to take away. Okay, now we have coffee. Yay! I'm drinking out of my Magic Kingdom mug today. This is one of the ones that my friend Andrea brought me back from Disney World because she goes there quite a lot, at least pre-pandemic. Also, I didn't realize you can't see it in the shot, but I do have all of my artwork up now, which we've been in this house for, 3 years? So it's nice to finally have all of that up, but I'll show you really quick. Whoa, this is hard to do. You got to think the opposite of what is good. So it is a print. Actually, it's, I believe, an original ink drawing by an artist named Giada Rose. And it was a gift from Kristen of the Volenvine Yarns podcast for, I don't know, one of our Christmas or birthday swaps. And I've had it in like the protective envelope for years. 2 years probably. Because I think she gave that one to me in person. No, she sent it because it was in an actual envelope with my address on it. But anyway, I got tired of having that sitting on my on my sewing desk, and that kind of lit the fire for me to get it hung up. So now it is hung up and framed. It is beautiful, and I love it. It's in my craft room corner, my crafting corner. It will probably have to come down because this is the corner that we put the Christmas tree in, and this week we're going to put the tree up. But I will just move it to a different location until Christmas is over, and then this is going to be its permanent home, which I'm very excited about. It makes this corner just even more cozy. So, let's talk finished objects. So I'm wearing my first finished object, and it is the Pumpkin Patch sweater by Megan Reagan, who is the dyer behind Bad Wolf Girl Studios. She has the Bad Wolf Girl Sits and Knits podcast, and she also obviously designs. So this, I believe, is going to come out this week. I think she was aiming for the week of Thanksgiving, but the cowl pattern is out now. So if you want to get the cowl pattern, you can get that. It's the Pumpkin Patch cowl. And if she's doing it like she did the unicorn, the last unicorn bundle, you can purchase the bundle on Ravelry, or you can purchase the individual patterns on Ribbler. And then if you purchase the bundle, like, it'll just auto update as she releases the other patterns. But I love this sweater. It really needs to be washed because I've worn it a bunch since I finished it. It is probably like my favorite sweater aside from the Hinterland sweater that I have knit for myself. It's out of DK weight yarn, which is my first DK weight sweater. I think that's why I really like it right now, because it's not quite cold enough for my worsted weight sweaters. I've worn them a few times, then I get way too sweaty, and it's not quite warm enough for my fingering weight sweaters. So the DK weight is perfect. So I'm kind of focusing right now on doing some DK weight sweaters to fill in that hole in my sweater wardrobe, if you will. But I knit it out of All Stash, so Stash Your Shelf challenge, and I was a test knitter for Meg. So she did make a chart with my kind of color pattern that is included in the pattern as well, if you want to do a similar kind of scheme. But I will stand up so you can see it. So I made mine a lot longer. I think the pattern has written instructions for an A-line tunic or split hem. I did mine like the traditional with waist shaping, so I added my own waist shaping. I believe that I did every 8 rows, and I kind of started like here. I did 4 or 5 decreases, and then I only had room to do like 3 increases back out, and then I did a long rib. So that works well for me. Like I have a very, very long torso and very short legs. So all the decreases I needed to get down from the bust size, I didn't need that many to increase back to my hip size. But the main color that I used is Once Upon a Corgi Yarns in her Pole DK base. So it is 100% Superwash Polworth. It is in the colorway Nightmares Plus 10, which is a really, really gorgeous, like, tonal charcoal, close to black. Then for my pumpkins, I used Juniper Moon Farms in the cinnamon color. For this guy, and you know, the leaves and these little medallions, which are kind of like pumpkin seeds, that was No Maker's Scruffy Gnome in the Present Locator color, held double with some Knit Picks alpaca lace. In like an olive color. I've had it for a really long time. Like I don't even have the tags anymore. And then the last color, which is this, sorry, my hair's in the way. This kind of dark burgundy variegated color. That is Lavender Loon Yarns DK Way in the Seance colorway. So I did weigh all of my yarn because Meg wanted to check her quantities. So I have the exact yards on my project page, and I knit the size 40 inch bust. I think it was 40 or 41-ish inch bust. Once I blocked it, I feel like I have a little bit of positive ease. I typically knit like a 38, even though I have a 44 inch bust. Because up here, my upper bust measurement is like 37. So I prefer to not have it be really, really loose on my shoulders. Anyway. Yeah, and then the sleeves, I think I worked the decreases as written in the pattern. But I worked even for a long way. I wanted it to be really cozy, and I made the sleeves a little bit longer so they'd come up onto my hands. Yeah, it's just nice. I love it. Highly recommend the pattern. Meg is a great pattern writer. She's really supportive if you have questions. It was a joy to test knit for her, and I would happily do it again. Excuse me. So Josh is home now, so we'll see if he comes up and is talking to me. So whips. This is not my only finished object, but Joshua is wearing the other finished object, so I finished a pair of socks for him. Despite his hatred of all things woolly, he loves knitted socks. And so he was wearing a pair of Megwin's old knitted socks that I made out of Regia Baby Smiles yarn, and then I had like some random sparkly yarn that I used for the heels and toes. So he found those and he was wearing them, and then he was wearing like mismatched socks, and he was wearing the same socks for like a week. So I said, okay, I need to knit him some socks. And I kind of noticed he was turning the cuff down. He said he didn't like the leg being as long as it was on Megwin socks. So what I did is I made shorty socks, and these are dirty. This one's dirty because it went into rotation right away as a mismatched sock. So I cast on 60 stitches, which isn't that dissimilar from my socks. So these will fit over my foot, but once I put the toe on, it obviously doesn't fit anymore. I was starting to podcast, and then I realized, oh, he's gonna come home, there's gonna be microwaves and whatever. Till they come. So I cast on 60 stitches, but I knit a very small leg. This is a little bit longer than the size I would do for a cuff on Josh's socks. I think it's 30 rows of 2x2 ribbing. And then I did 15 slip stitches, so 30 rows total on the heel, turn, gusset, and then 29 rows to the toe, and then worked a normal wedge-shaped toe. So this is the leftovers from a pair of socks I made for Josh out of the West Yorkshire Spinners Mallard colorway. And then the contrast that I did for the toe is one of a kind. I think it was like a mystery batch from Wollendine Yarns. On the Blitz base, it's called Mystery in Blue. I knit my, what's it called? Bow Ties Are Cool shawl with this and Special Snowflake. So this is the leftovers from that shawl, which is my favorite shawl that I've ever knit. So I started the second sock. I totally had a brain fade of some sort and decided to just keep going with the ribbing on the top of the foot. And then I realized, no, I didn't do that on the first sock. I shouldn't be doing that on this sock. It makes it way easier too if I don't do the ribbing on there, because then it's just stockinette for the gusset. So anyway, I stopped doing it when I got to here, basically when I was running out of the West Yorkshire Spinners. So I've run out now of the yarn, which is okay because I've finished the leg and the heel and a little bit of the top of the foot. So it should not ever be visible, and frankly, he doesn't care because he's happy to wear mismatched socks. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish out the sock in the Mystery in Blue color. And hopefully that will use up most of this ball. I don't think it'll completely use it up. And then I'll have a little bit left if I need to darn the socks. But I really love the West Yorkshire Spinners yarn. It wears really well. I made a pair of socks for me in the first Christmas colorway they did. And they still look great. And I think I've made 2 pair for Josh out of West Yorkshire Spinners. I think I've done Mallard and Wood Pigeon. And I have Owl and the Blue Tit colorway to still do. So now that I know that I could probably get a pair for Joshua out of them, maybe if I use contrast for the heels, toes, and cuffs on Josh's socks, I would definitely be able to get a full pair of socks for Joshua out of them, because I'm almost there on the foot. So if I had just used, I think, a contrasting cuff on those for Josh, I definitely would have been able to do it. So for the next ones, I will do that. But I'm slowly just using up all of my leftover balls from socks I've made to make some pairs for Joshua. They're really fast because they're so small. And the pair that he's wearing right now are knit out of some sparkle yarn from Meg, Bad Wolf Girl Studios. I don't remember the colorway name, but it's like orange and green, so I think of them as like pumpkins and vines. That's what I'm calling them, like my pumpkin vine socks. And he really loves those. So he wanted to wear them to school today. I tried to convince him to wear those Regia socks so that I could show them on the podcast, but he did like a little switcheroo on me when I wasn't looking. And he's like, but I love these socks. They're so comfy. So whatever. I'm not going to argue with him. He's wearing socks. So he's wearing them today. I did put my Progress Keeper on here. That was part of my Christmas package from Bente. Unfortunately, it came and then like the kids opened everything because there was chocolate in it, and they're like little monsters. They can smell that. So the chocolate is all gone, but I still got all the fun things. I got out the Christmas bags because I'm ready to just enjoy some fun festive things. So this is one of the Christmas bags that I sewed a couple years ago. I really like this one. It's got some fun little woodland animals on it. And then on the inside I put this, reminds me of like the enamelware mugs and stuff. So It's the perfect size for a pair of Joshua socks, and I have my next ball chosen. This is a skein of Spark Story. Water Nymphs, I think is the colorway. But it's like light blue with dark blue and yellow speckles on it. And this was left over from a pair of socks that I knit a couple years ago. So that should be enough to knit a pair of socks for him, because I usually have a lot left over when I knit socks. That is whip number 1. Whip number 2 is a cross stitch whip. So last time I showed my Halloween sampler, so Halloween is done now. So now I'm working on its companion, the Christmas sampler. So this is a design by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I believe it's called the Christmas Sampler, and it essentially has, you know, like the letters of Christmas in a 3x3 grid. So I have almost completed the H square. I just have to finish out the mug, so it has a blue stripe that goes on there, and then I need to backstitch it. So H for hot cocoa. C is for carolers, so that's the one I've kind of been working on also. I try to like do, if I have just little bits of color, I try to do some work in the adjacent squares so that I don't have a bunch of like partial strands just sitting around in my bag. So I do it until I use up the strand. So this caroler's hair was also the color of the hot cocoa in the mugs. So that's why I went ahead and did her hair, and I did the letter to help like anchor everything. And then the other caroler I've mostly finished. I just need to do her scarf and her headband, and I forgot to do her shoes, so I have to go back and do those. But all the white in it is this hand-dyed floss, which you cannot pick up on the camera, but it has very subtle pinks and blues. And like, I think there's a little bit of green, like mint in it as well. So it looks kind of icy and stuff. It's really pretty in person. The background is gingerbread from Picture This Plus. It's a hand-dyed fabric. It's not sparkly. It's one of the few that I am making on not sparkle fabric. And I've got a progress keeper also from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, but a needle runs through it, makes those. So it is the Peppermint Mocha with little Jack. I think that's Jack. Sugarloaf is the smaller one of the two. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I did a little bit of it 2 nights ago because I was waiting for my next whip to dry, and so I couldn't knit on it. So I did cross stitch instead. And then it still wasn't dry last night, so I did Joshua's sock, which I should finish up today. Something's getting stuck. This is in a bag that was made for me by Ina from the Ina Knits podcast. She's doing a month of Hygge, and I really love her podcast. So they're kind of like short episodes, and she does them once a week through the month of November. So rather than Vlogmas, she does the month of Hygge. So I'm enjoying watching those. And let's see, since I said this was going to be my next whip, I'd show you. My next whip, oh shoot, I do have another finished object. I'll go get it after I show you this. This is what made me think of the finished object. So I cast on for my last unicorn sweater, which is also a design by Megan Reagan. And it is a colorwork yoke sweater. This one has been fully released, So you can get the pattern bundle on Ravelry or individual patterns on Ribbler. There's a cowl pattern, a mini Last Unicorn sweater, and the adult size Last Unicorn sweater, and I believe that there are instructions for a Christmas ornament as well. So I am making, again, the size 40 bust, and I used a mini skein set that I got from Moonstone Dye Works, the dyer that does the Squirrel Pie Productions podcast, Tommy. It was all moons, so I actually do have the tags. I kept the tags because I knew I would never remember all the names of them. Okay, so Moonstone Dye Works, and it's on her sparkle base. So the colorways are, the orange is IO, the gold and silver is Phobos and Deimos, the green is Triton, the silver and blue is Enceladus, and then the last one is Callisto, the purple. There. So I held them double, and I used a size 8 needle for this portion. So I went up a needle size from what I was doing for the neckline. And then I worked my color work with the leftovers from this sweater. So this is Nightmares Plus 10 for my black unicorns. And the red is also Moonstone Dye Works, but it's a true DK. And it is Decaying Opulence, which I believe was a Halloween colorway that she did. I got it as a D-stash from Huga Canyon, but yeah, I didn't know what I was going to do for a darker pink or red to go with the moon, so I really wanted to stay with Tommy's yarn because she has, you know, kind of that consistent palette. Every dyer's got their own special way of dyeing, so I was glad I was able to get a skein of that because I missed it when she sold it originally. Sorry, my nose is a little stuffy today. Then the body of the sweater, or the main color, is a set of yarn I got from Tuesday Morning, like in their bargain bin back when we lived in Ohio. And it is Carlton Pure Wool DK. Pretty sure there's not a colorway name, so it's just a commercial yarn. It's 100% superwash wool, 100 grams per skein. Color number 06. You probably can't get this yarn. 8 at 8, half of the label. But I kept it so I could tell you what it was. It's really soft though. It's a nice commercial yarn. So it's just a light, like ballet slipper pink is what I think of that colorway as. And then I did only one row of the hearts because I knew from this pumpkin sweater that really I wouldn't want my yoke to be any longer because it has just a little bit of stuff coming down below the arms. So how I did it is there are a couple different charts on Meg's pattern. There's for a longer or a shorter yoke, but I wanted the rainbow stripes to be longer. So I knit the rainbow stripes from the longer yoke chart. I knit the unicorns from the shorter yoke chart, and then I cut some rows out of the chart. So I basically did the last set of increases, and then I went right to the hearts. Now I knit one row plain after doing the last set of increases. Then I did the hearts. Then I immediately separated for the sleeves. I worked one plain round after that so that I wouldn't have to deal with there being weird changes in gauge. And then I separated for the sleeves. And now I'm just knitting the body. So I'll do the same thing that I did on this one. I'm going to add waist decreases. I might work them a little bit faster because I felt like I didn't get down to the place I needed to get to before I had to start working back out on this one. So maybe every 7 rows. I think I did every 8 rows on this one. So I think I'll do every 7 rows on this one. And that should be good. But I did wash it and block it because this was puckering quite a bit. I was a little bit worried that since I was doing fingering weight held double, and I should have learned my lesson with this one, I was trying to do fingering weight held double. But the difference is on this one, you can see there is immediately color work. And this cinnamon color, it feels like it's not DK, but it is listed as a DK. So I think when I was holding it double, I was getting like an Aran weight, which would be way too thick. So this was, you know, puckering a lot. I think I talked about that in my last episode when I was recording with Mom, that it made it way too thick and super wavy. So I was getting a little bit of that with this section, but it wasn't as bad. And it seems like it blocked just fine. So that is good. So yeah, I did the short row shaping. That is optional, but I do like the way it makes sweaters sit, especially these, because Meg does a little bit higher of a neckline than I typically do on my sweaters. It's actually quite common for colorwork sweaters to have a higher neckline, but a lot of my other sweaters I've knit previously don't have this high of a neckline. So I definitely wanted to do that short row shaping so it would sit at the right place and wouldn't be constantly pushing up on my neck. So yeah, that is my last unicorn sweater so far. Hopefully I will have it done in the next couple weeks. But I'll have another DK weight sweater to wear in this kind of weather where it's a really nice weight of sweater. Then my last whip, and I'll go get my other FO. I picked up my mini mitten advent calendar. I don't remember what it's called. It's by, I have a hair in my mouth. It's by Catherine or Kathy Lewinsky. It was a free pattern. Dog fur. And I think you can still get it as a free pattern on her blog, but it's like separate posts, because I think she posted like one every day leading up to Advent. If you buy it, you can purchase it on Ravelry. I don't know if she has alternate ways to purchase. A lot of designers do. Typically, if you contact them, a lot of them have other ways to do it, but I'll put a link up to her blog because it is available on her blog, which is not on Ravelry. And then, you know, you could see if she has alternate platforms for selling her patterns, probably from her blog. So this one I started last year? I do think I started it last year because I started it right before we traveled to California for Thanksgiving. So it has obviously 24 little mittens that you could put things in. My idea is that going forward, I'll be able to take like a yarn mini skein calendar and put one in each mitten, and it would be a fun way to decorate. Obviously I haven't woven in ends. This one, to be honest, I wove in all the ends, but I didn't weave in the thumb ends. I just shoved them in the thumb because it's never going to be a worn mitten. So there's no reason to bother trying to turn this teeny tiny thumb inside out, which frankly, I did not worry about it being able to accommodate a finger since I knew that they would never be worn. So some of my floats, I just kind of pulled them straight across. I didn't do what I would usually do of making sure like they would go around your thumb and not pull. So I've completed day 1. This is the only one I've knit a thumb on. The thumb was ridiculously fiddly. I'm not looking forward to knitting all of these thumbs, and all of them have a pattern on them, which is cute, and they will be great when they're done, but they're a pain in the butt to do. I probably should do them on DPNs. That might make it a little bit easier. I was doing them on 2 circulars and just made it like really fiddly. Plus I was knitting them in airports with 2 kids going wacko. That probably had something to do with it. So anyway, that's day 1, day 2, and day 3. They're knit from a combination of yarns from my stash. This one is all Knit Picks palette. This one is some palette and this other yarn, which I don't have a label for. And then this one is it's Knit Picks palette, the weird gray yarn I don't have the label for, and yarn that I am blanking on the name of. It's a Norwegian yarn. I'll put it in the show notes below. And I'm working on day 4, so I've almost finished it. I'm now ready to do the decreases for the top. So that's kind of how they're gonna go. So what I'm doing is it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then kind of, if you think of it going down, there's only going to be 6 background colors in it, and then 4 sets of those 6 colors. So my next color is going to be this one. It'll be blue. This is some Icelandic yarn that I got from my first Rhinebeck. And then my last color will be this black tweed. So kind of getting a little bit of a traditional Selbu mitten vibe there with the cream. And what I'm trying to do is take the color of the mitten before and kind of bring that in as one of the colors. Sorry, I had those out of order. So I've got the red and white as the first one. This one is gray, red, and white. This one is gray, white, and gold. This one is green, gold, and white. So these will be blue, white, and green. And then we'll have black, white, and blue. And I might have, for the last day, which is a Santa Claus, I might bring in a little bit of the red as well to do his suit. I haven't decided yet. So that's my plan. I think it's going to be super cute, but it's definitely not going to be done for this Christmas. I'm not stressing over that. It's going to be, whenever it's done, it's done. I work on them when I feel like it. Right now I feel like it. So maybe I'll finish the first 6, because these 2 I just need to put thumbs on. This one needs a thumb and just the tippy top of the mitten, which honestly takes almost no time at all. And then I need to knit a blue one and a black one, just so I can see what my color palette's truly going to look like all hung up. And then maybe I could have my first 6 hung up for this Christmas. That'd be cool. It is in my Nerdbird Makery bag. This is what it's been in since the beginning, actually. It is the Feminist Knit Club bag. So it has a really nice wax canvas bottom. It's canvas on the sides. It's got really nice leather handles and drawstring pulls, and there are multiple pockets inside. So it's really good for a traveling bag, because I could have a Notions tin in one of those. I actually put my boarding passes in here. Before I was just putting them on my phone. But sometimes they just print them for you anyway if you check luggage. And I could put like my luggage claim tags and stuff in the thing. And then when I was sick traveling, because I was sick traveling a bit last year, I could put cough drops and tissues and everything in those pockets. So a lot of room in this bag. Okay. Yep. So I'm going to pause it and go get my other FO. Okay. Sorry, we had to do a little bit of dog grooming and getting things ready for the microwave. And they're going to come at the tail end of their delivery window. Okay. So my other finished object is the mini last unicorn sweater. And this one I was not expecting to have done, but Megwin went to a birthday party for one of her friends from school, and because of COVID, it was an outdoor birthday party. So they sat outside, kind of around a fire pit, socially distanced, and they watched a movie outside. So obviously we thought it would be really cold. It turned out to not be too bad. I think it was in the 40s. So with like our camping sleeping bag, and she had on a wool sweater, she had her snow pants. I think that, no, she didn't wear her snow pants. And then wool socks. She was fine. But she asked me if I could complete her unicorn sweater for wearing to that party, because she was really, really excited about it. And I haven't knit a sweater for Megwin in quite a while, actually. So she was definitely due to get one. So I was able to finish it. I think I was halfway through the body when she asked me that. So I was like, well, it's all just plain stockinette at this point. She's not that big. And I had like a week to do it at that point. So I just kind of set goals of I need to do this much each day. So I think I had to finish the body one night, and I had to do one sleeve per day. Now, as far as leftovers go, I think I maybe had 30 grams or less left of the green, the main color. It's a discontinued yarn. Oh, Ada. It's Classic Elite 150. So all of the Classic Elite yarns are discontinued. It's a really nice, affordable commercial brand that we had, at least in the US. So I got this from a yarn store that closed. I've probably had it in my stash for 10 years at this point. I think I got it to knit a baby sweater for Megwin. Obviously that didn't happen. I had 5 balls of it, and one of them was actually moth damaged in a pretty large excuse me, moth incident in my stash in Ohio, where I had to like reskein and wash everything and freeze all my yarns. So this one, I knew I lost some yardage from. I didn't lose a ton. I probably lost like 10 yards of it to moth damage, but it needed to get knit up so that it could just be out of my stash at this point. So I don't have the colorway of this, but it doesn't matter because you can't get it unless you get it discontinued. I do recommend the Classic Elite 150, so if you ever come across it in a D-stash or something like that, it's a great workhorse yarn. It's 100% wool, it's superwash, and looks like it's sticking out, but it is fine once she's wearing it. I just left it a little bit longer so it could be blocked, because this has not been blocked. She needed to wear it. I finished it the day of the party in the morning, but I knew there wasn't going to be enough time for it to get dry and time for her to wear it, so it has not been blocked yet. I need to wash this sweater, so I might also wash this one and block it. So for the contrast colors on the top, this pink color I got in a swap like years ago in the Itty Bitty Knits group from Mel, who is Woman in a Shoe. So it's an Australian yarn, I believe. And I used the same pink down here for the hearts and the little stars. The orange is a hand spun with some Angora in it. The gold, I believe, is a mini skein of Fool's Gold from Hedgehog Fibers. I got it in a mini skein swap, so I just held it double to use that up. This lime green, which doesn't really look like lime green next to all the other colors, it is a Crystal Palace Yarns Bunny Hop. The blue is an alpaca that I used for a scarf for my mom. That's like a long scarf that you can put buttons on and kind of wrap it around yourself and button it to make it be kind of like a cowl, or you could also wear it like a scarf. And the purple is a little mini skein that I got from Cheryl Can when she sent me some yarn. It's from a Canadian mill, like they dye and spin, and they're on Prince Edward Island. So anyway, it was just a little bit like a sampler with a couple of full skeins. So that purple was really pretty, and this is like Megwin's favorite purple. So she kind of helped me pick out the top colors. She wanted a red, but I didn't have any like true red, and I knew that this was DK weight, so you know, she was fine with the pink. The white I used is more of the Crystal Palace Yarns Bunny Hop, so it's in like a white or ivory color. I knit the largest size. It turned out a little bit bigger than the pattern said, so I think the pattern said it was a 28-inch chest, but I was using a 32-inch needle, and it was like perfect. So I think it's more like a 32-inch chest circumference, but I wanted it to be a little bit big on her so that she could wear it next year as well. So I also made the arms really long and the cuffs really long, so they go down onto kind of that same place on her hand as mine do. When I block it, they'll probably be a little bit longer, but again, I wanted her to be able to wear it next year as well. And honestly, like, I don't have any more green. I don't have enough green to make things any longer, so I basically made them as long as I possibly could make them. I made the body as long as I could make it. It goes down to like mid-hip on her, so I think it'll be fine for next year as well. I really like it. It's a well-written pattern. So hopefully, you know, more people knit them and check them out. She loves it. She's already worn it like 3 times, and as I said, I haven't blocked it. I didn't have time to weave in all the ends because she needed to go to that party. I wove in all of the ends for the body and the sleeves and under the arms and all the ones that were around the neck, but anything that I knew would be hidden, which really is just the rainbow, I wove in the ends for the unicorn. And so she's got the ends still sticking out for the pink. So I need to do some end weaving on this one. But it was done in time for the party, so we're going to go with it. And like I said, she's worn it like 3 more times with the ends. She doesn't care. She's just happy to have a new sweater. So I probably will wash it and block it, and then I'll weave in the rest of those ends. So Mini Last Unicorn Sweater by Megan Reagan, who is a Bad Wolf Girl, sits and knits on Instagram. Yeah, so I think that's all my FOs, all my whips. Yes, that I've worked on. I have some other stuff, but I haven't really touched it. So then acquisitions. I have a really huge acquisition section because I have all of the stuff that I ordered from Indie Untangled, and then I also have the gifts from Bente. So from Gabby, who's Once Upon a Corgi, her stuff, sorry, this has so much Ada fur on it because I dropped one of these skeins on the floor. My friend Andrea got the sweater's quantity of Sea Captain's Widow on her ginger base, and so she had another set in the Indie Untangled update, so I snapped that one up. It's this really gorgeous blue with like all these different tones of blue. So I think there is a pattern that's going to be coming out by the same person who designed the Dame de Far or Dame de Fer. And it's meant to be mohair and fingering weight held double. It's a cardigan. It's got lace all over it. It's beautiful. I've seen like her test picture. I don't know how long it's going to take before that design comes out because she said she's taken a little break for the holidays. But that's fine. I don't have this anywhere in my near future. So I purchased some Aloft lace weight from Knit Picks, and I think these held double will be perfect together. So this is like, it's black with some blue kind of all over it. So I think that's really gonna work well, held double. And you'll get kind of that sparkle peeking out of there. So that's my plan for these, unless, you know, something else comes along that's a mohair fingering weight held double design that I just have to knit. But these two are definitely going together. And the Knit Picks mohair blend is really nice. It's very soft. I mean, I've showed you one skein inside. And very affordable. And oddly, you know, seems like it worked out in terms of indie dyed and commercial together. Then the second thing that I got, I buried it, from Gabby's shop. I've had my eye on these skeins for a little bit. And I had talked to her about that I wanted to knit something with Buzzard and Fireheart together, because Buzzard and Fireheart must be together. But she didn't have enough Fireheart in her shop ever for me to do anything with. So for that update, she had dyed some more Fireheart, and this was still in her shop. So this is her Buzzard colorway on her Isaac base, which is 100% superwash Polworth. So this is the same base that I knit my Hinterland sweater out of, which I love. It's warmer than merino, which is really nice. So I'm going to use this with this, and I'm gonna knit the Vienna sweater. It's an all over brioche sweater, and what it has is on the yoke, it's got 2-color brioche, and then there's bands of garter stitch that are the contrasting color, and then the main body is worked in 1-color brioche. So I will do this as my contrast color on the yoke, held double with the, so this is on her ginger base, and then this one's on her fig, I think it's fig base, fig lace base. So it's her mohair silk. So these are both Fireheart. It's a really warm peach with like burnt orange in it. So those will be really nice. And then Buzzard is, it's got some of those warm peaches and oranges in it, but it also has, you know, forest greens and this really nice caramely brown color. So it's going to be really pretty, and it's going to be a super cozy sweater because it's going to be all over brioche. I love knitting brioche. I find it very soothing and rhythmic, especially when it's knit in the round. So the Vienna is a top down in the round sweater. It's going to be awesome. That might be my next cast on, just because I've done a lot of color work and I kind of want something uncharted for my next project. Because charts are fun. I love color work. It's really fun to do, but then you can't really zone out, so I can't be watching something or reading a book because I have to look at the chart. Now, once you finish the color work portion, then it's just stockinette, so then it's fine, and I don't need to have the chart to work off of, but until that point, I do need it. So then, this one is a bit of an accidental fade, but I wanted to order some stuff from Lavender Loon. So Sam is like one of the sweetest people. We met at, I think, my first Indian Tangled. Pretty sure. So I was chatting with her about her update and what she was going to do. I wasn't able to make it to any of her virtual sessions. It just didn't work out, like the timing for me to do it, but I wish I'd been able to. So anyway, I had these two skeins that are in the middle from Wool and Vine Yarns already in my stash. So this one, like the second one over here, is from her Gothic Yarn Club. It is Kathy and Heathcliff. And then this one, which my thumb is tapping, is her Halloween colorway, I think. It was a mystery. It's called Seance at Pemberley. So I was looking for, I thought these would be really nice to fade together, but I needed 2 more colors. And Nothing Kristen was dyeing was kind of fitting the bill for these. I'd been watching her updates, but she was kind of dyeing a lot of like blues and greens or darker reds. Nothing in this kind of purpley palette. So I knew Sam kind of also dyes things in that sort of mauvey, purpley palette. So I looked in her website and I found 2 colors and they work so well with these middle 2. So this one on the outside is called Rumor, and it is on her Bronze Stellina base. It doesn't say on the tag what the base is called, but it's the one that has Bronze Stellina in it. So it's a very light effect of Stellina. It's not as in your face as some of the other Stellina bases are, but I really like it. It's really beautiful. So that one's Rumor. And then the one on this end is on her Merino Nylon Mohair base, because I wanted to also try some of her bases since I've only got like her Merino Fingering and her Merino DK is what I've tried, and I have them both in Seance. So I wanted to get a couple different bases that I didn't have. So like I said, her Merino Nylon Mohair, and this one is the Wolfsbane colorway. So very dark purple stuff in there. There's a little bit of some copper, and God, it's just gorgeous. So I'm really excited about this fade palette. And I think what I'm going to knit out of it is I'm going to knit something from my Knitting with Gradients book, or Stricna Gradiente, I think is what it is. I know I roll my R's, but I learned Spanish first, so sorry. Sorry, Norwegians. And it's basically a book that's all about knitting with gradients. There is a pattern from Ellie in there that's called the Skumring cardigan, which she now has as an individual pattern, but that's the reason I bought the book. But there is one that's called like Falling Lace, so it's a tunic length sweater, and it's got like lace, you know, cascading down the body. It's short sleeved, but I think like that would be really pretty with some like black leggings, maybe some tall boots. Yeah, that would be a great sweater, and maybe that could be the sweater that I wear for next year's India Untangled if we have it in person and I can show it to Sam. So fingers crossed that that can happen. I don't know where we'll be with coronavirus, but I will knit all of my hopes and wishes into that sweater. It's not, again, it's not going to happen for a little while, but also then if it's short sleeved, I can wear it like in late spring, even into summer in Connecticut. There are sometimes days where it's quite cool here in the summer, so you can get away with a sweater if it's short sleeved. So yeah, I can wear sweaters like 75% of the year here. There's really just a very short, like 2-month period where it's too hot for that. So that's my new fade. 2 colors from Lavender Loon. And they work as amazingly as I thought that they would. Sometimes, you know, you see stuff on your monitor and you're like, well, I think that'll work, but I'm not sure. And this one was a happy, yes, it works. So then let's go to the last stuff. So this one was her Indie Untangled exclusive colorway. So she had 2. She had one that was like Rhinebeck something, and then this one was Air Hugs. To be perfectly honest, I thought that this was like sky blue, and then it had like leaf colors on it. So that's one of those, like, your monitor doesn't always show the colors truly. It's mint, which is fine. It's really pretty still, but I was just surprised because it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. But she did dye this one as by special request for me because she was only offering them on fingering weight. But I just sent her a message and I said, hey, I'm really trying to build up my DK weight stash. Is there any way that you could dye one on DK for me? And she happened to have some more DK left, so she said, yeah, I think I can do that. Just go ahead and put like a message in the notes to seller, and just to remind me when I go to dye it. So I think that this might become maybe a hat. I don't know. I think it might be a hat and mittens because I need some more of those for the kids. And it seems like Joshua really likes my everyday lined hat that I knit. But I knit it in pink. He doesn't care. He doesn't care that it's dusty pink. But it would be nice to give him some variety. So I think I will knit another one of those. That is a pattern by Denise Bayron, who is Bayron Handmade on Instagram. And she walks you through everything, like how to line a hat with fabric. She talks about which fabrics are good choices. I used some leftover jersey fabric that I had from a dress that I made. And I think I've got some like polka dot jersey that I could use to line this one. So that is probably a really good idea. And then if I put like a brown pom-pom on it, it would be super cute. So anyway, that is Air Hugs. And then the last thing I got is I got a sweater's quantity of Lavender Loon, again on her Bronze Stellina base, which you can see it maybe over there. You really can't see the Bronze Stellina until you get it in the light, and then it just shimmers very nicely. And this is on the Olive U colorway. I like this olive because it is a cool olive, not like a warm gold olive. So I think it's gonna be really pretty for me. Sometimes I can't wear like warmer olives, like with a lot of gold in them, because they wash me out. But this one is really pretty. I really hemmed and hawed a lot about what I wanted to get, because I did want to get like a semi-solid, and I wanted to get a sweater's quantity, but I just couldn't decide. So I don't have anything in this kind of an olive. I think this would make a really pretty cardigan because olive is kind of a neutral. It matches a lot of things. So I think this is going to be a cardigan, and I might do like a really just simple cardigan. Because I've knit a lot of pullovers, but I don't have any hand knit cardigans now. I had one and I gave it to Megwin because she really liked it. It was like cream colored Angora, and it had like rainbow stripes of Knit Picks Chroma in Guppy. She wears it a lot too, so it was definitely good to give it to her. But yeah, I need a knit cardigan, so I don't know. I'll have a twirl through my pattern library. I know I have some really good like basic cardigan patterns that I can do, but yeah, that's what I want to do with this one. Make a basic match everything cardigan. I think it would be great with some wooden buttons or silver buttons. I don't know. I feel like wood. That's what's in my brain. Anyway. So that is Olive You from Lavender Loom. Sorry for the crinkling, not sorry for the crinkling. And then the last one is, like I said, my my swap gift. So the idea is that you're not supposed to spend more than, I think, $25 US on the gift. And then, you know, if you have stuff in your stash or whatever, you can include it. So since Bente is a dyer, she gave me a couple of skeins of her singles base, which she said doesn't sell, and I don't know why, because it's gorgeous. So I said, I don't know, maybe we need to talk about some more of this color because it is so pretty. Or even this one. Either one. Anyway, so she sent me 2 skeins. I think these might become something color work because they're really pretty together. So this colorway is Antique Copper, and this colorway is Plum Jam. Really, really gorgeous. And they are singles, 100% merino, superwash yarn. She also dyes a lot of Hillesvåg, I think. She has a lot of like natural wools that she also dyes. So if you're looking for indie dyed wools for color work, she also stocks those, as well as like your traditional superwash merino that a lot of people use. I love a good woolly wool. So yeah, that is everything I have to share in terms of knitting content. I did want to share with you all that I found a new to me maker of lotions and lip glosses, and I think she's also got like some like bath oils or something like that. Scrubs, body scrubs. That was what it was. So I follow the Instagram account Black Makers Matter, and I have found so many great things from that thread, or sorry, that account. So definitely recommend. That's where I found KMD Candles, which is also a Black woman-owned business, and she does all woodwick candles, and they come in tins. I think she's doing like a luxury type. Ooh, see, there's our microwave. A luxury type one that comes in jars instead, glass jars. They all smell amazing. I have another set coming. I decided for Christmas I'm going to mainly try to order from people who are doing their own thing and handmade stuff to try and support a lot of those people and entrepreneurs who are single proprietor type businesses during this time, because I know in pandemic times it's kind of tough. So anyway, this scent is Pixie Whip, and it has a ton of glitter in it. A ton, and even like little butterflies. I got this one for Megwin, but I also got pumpkin spice, and I've been using that one a lot in my own in my office. So they come in a jar, and she sends you a little spatula to scoop it out. It is Divinity Body Care, so DYVINITY. Y. Good grief. Basically the Y instead of the I. So her name is Divine, so Forever Divine. She is in Las Vegas, and yeah, you can find her stuff online, and I really love it. They smell great. I saw there. Okay, new microwave is in. Now I have the weird sun time So it's probably time for me to wrap this podcast up anyway. Ada is now awake and padding around, but she can't get over here because I've blocked it with the ironing board. She'll try though. So anyway, to all my American friends, I hope you have a lovely Thanksgiving week, and that even if you're not able to spend time with family because of coronavirus, you find some way to connect, be thankful for things, and spend some time doing the things that you love. And I will be doing Vlogmas this year. I've started pre-recording a little bit of content just because I know there are some days during the holiday season where I'm too busy and I won't be able to record an episode. So that's when I fall back on some of that pre-recorded content. So, just recording some little videos of my making and some of the things that I do during the day. This year's Vlogmas is going to be very much stuff at home. I have more or less been at home since March. As far as I know, according to my employer, I will be working from home at least through next June. So, yeah, it's all going to be stuff at home. But I do have a lot of different things planned. I might make my cushions for my bench that Josh made for me, and do cushion covers, make some pillows, do some cross stitch, obviously baking with the kids, trying to find some fun activities to do with them. I'm leaning forward so you don't get weird sun face on half of my face. And we'll do Christmas Legos, some decorating, Advent opening, and yeah, so if you can think of anything else that you would like to see of me make for content, please feel free to leave a comment. Yeah, and definitely if you are not subscribed, do subscribe so that you get those notifications when my episode is up every day. What I try to do is I upload them overnight, so they'll typically be popped up and ready first thing in the morning for you to watch the day before's content. So day one will be the last day of November. But I will pre-record some decorating because we're going to decorate early. So my Christmas tree and stuff will definitely be up next time I'm podcasting. And it'll stay up until January. We typically take it down sometime between New Year's and my birthday whenever I feel like doing it. So anyway, have a great week or week and a half until you see me for Vlogmas, and then we will be hanging out every day. Yeah, so thank you all for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.